Welcome back, folks. Second portion of our show, Market Movers, and boy, we got the spoos whipping around here. Just made a low at 1249.50. Now we're back up at 1256, getting some nice pre-morning volatility here, Dennis. But let's get to our Market Movers. What do you have on the radar for us?
Yeah, really bouncing around the spoos. But Talbot's probably your biggest mover of the day. They're getting a bid from private equity firm Sycamore Partners. $3 a share is a bid that's on the table. Stock's trading $2.67. So it's up $1 from $1.56 close. Not quite to the $3 price, but definitely that's probably where the stock is eventually heading if that $3 bid is real and does hold.
Okay, I mean, obviously the stock was just bumping, along the bottom of the chart here at the 150s, and now you got the pump up. I guess if you're a believer in the merger or the consolidation, you hold on for that $3 level. If not, if you've been lucky enough to be buying the stock on its way down, you can get out now and forget about it.
Yeah. Another one that's getting just a stake bot is MS. So J.C. Penney's going to come out, buy a 16% stake in Martha Stewart. I think they were paying $3.50. So they're getting a pretty good deal because stock's trading $4.10 right now after closing at $3.12. Here's a stock that's just, been dead money as well. $4 has been major resistance. It's funny, you see companies come and buy a stake in companies like this. Sometimes, it'll be okay, like maybe Martha Stewart can sell their products at JCPenney, so good overall for Martha Stewart, but is it really going to, be a whole difference maker overall for the company? I don't know. JCPenney has some major resistance at 34. Just this morning, JCPenney hasn't made a trade yet, so I don't really think shareholders actually don't seem to care too much that they're buying a little piece of Martha Stewart because there hasn't been a trade. So, what do you think of those two stocks, Joel?
I guess this is the first brilliant move by the former Apple executive to take JCPenney to new heights here. I don't really quite understand the move. Picking up the Martha Stewart, but they got a little profit in it now, so can't be all bad. Look at this JCPenney here. We did hit 33.90 2 days ago. Nowhere, we're 70 cents away from that level. Major resistance stands at 34.47 level, which was the high in November 14th. The stock just kind of had a nice run up here from the low 29 level. I'd say it's still good to go here unless we take out this 33 level. We could get a nice breakdown to the lower 32s.
Men's Warehouse, which is MW, reported earnings last night. Stock getting a nice lift here, $29.30 now bid after closing at $27.19. So the stock's up over $2 here, Joel. $30 looks pretty big to me. What do you think?
Had a breakout here over the 28.50 level. We're holding that. That 30 is going to be huge. Actually, you had a high back on November 15th at 30.12. The previous day's high there was 29.99. So another 80 cents here. You're running a stiff resistance, but with the stock already being up $2, that'd be one heck of a move from Men's Warehouse. Just taking a look at it in the pre-market, Dennis, we have approached that $30 level, $29.85. So not a ton of volume associated with it. So keep a real close eye on this $29.85 to $30 level. Coming back on the downside, if we in fact cannot hold 29, we look for this thing to come back in and perhaps trade into the low 28s, perhaps test yesterday's high at 28.01.
Monsanto raising guidance here today. Stock is trading up over $1, 73.35 after closing at 72.32. Nice move for Monsanto. Major resistance up at 75. That's still a ways away from here. Joel, you have anything closer for us?
Sure do. 74.33, Dennis, the high on the first of the month here. Still $1 away from there, so expect a real good resistance at the 74.33 level. Monsanto, just taking a look at here in the pre-market, You got that initial spike up to 73.82. We're trading good 50 cents below that. So keep an eye on that $73.82 to $74 level. Coming back on the downside, really you can't get too bearish to stock until it takes out this 72.70, which has been holding in the pre-market. If in fact it gets down through that 72.70 area, look for a test of the close at 72.32.
What a move for Lilly yesterday, up $1.45. That's a major move for a stock like that. Probably the biggest move it's had. I think maybe in the last 6 months I haven't seen it move $1.45 in one day straight up. So LLY really getting a lift. Kramer gave it a little follow through last night. He featured it on his show. Obviously bullish as well, so I think that's why you're seeing this follow-through move, as Lilly actually is trading this morning at $39.30, which is up another 40 cents. Now look at this, $39.78, which was the old 52-week high, set back in July. And then I always say the big whole numbers like 40 are always big, so I wouldn't be surprised to have a little more resistance there. The reason for the big move yesterday was their Alzheimer's drug, so they're getting a little bit of positive feedback on that, which is why they had the big lift. So here's a stock that's very cheap. It's got a nice yield, 5%. Value investors are all over this. I've often wondered, PE 9, obviously they've got some patents expiring later this year, which is probably why the stock has been a little cheaper, as they're worried about the earnings going forward. But overall here, the stock seems to be breaking out and starting to look good on the charts, Joel.
Yeah, they had a nice breakout yesterday right off the open. Taking out the $38 level, and it really it opened slightly below that, busted through those highs and never really looked back, and now you're getting the old 2-day follow-through move that Dennis likes to talk about. Once again, you're right, Dennis, $39.78, that's been a major high in the stock, so $39.78 to $40, see if you get some profit takers in there. Just to keep an eye on the pre-market activity, 39.40 has been the high, so we can use that as our initial resistance, up to the 52-week high of 39.78. And coming back on the downside, 39.12 was a high, was a 38.86 close, so really wouldn't look for a change in sentiment in this stock until we take out that 38.86 level.
We got VRA, Victor Roger Alpha, which is Vera Bradley, trading down 7% right now, 34.44 after closing at 37.16. Chart actually is getting into a little bit of support here, Joel, and then it's going to open up below that. What do you think on a technical perspective from VRA?
Yeah, well, let's see if it can get down and test that 33.38, the low from November 29th. You also have another low in that below that at 33.67. So have to see how it reacts at that area. Below that, it opens up it's another buck down to the low 32s. So that 33.30 area doesn't hold. I'd have to get out of the way. If I wanted to try another long, it would not be until the 32.28 area. Or also would be a good area to cover short. But we're sure talking about a lot of retailers today, Dennis. But just keeping an eye on the pre-market activity. It has bottomed out at 34, and good resistance is forming at the 35.5 level.
Yeah, just a lot of retailers in the news. That was on lowered guidance. That's why that stock's trading down as well. Yeah, that's really what I'm seeing in my filters. So it looks like if you're trading retailers today, you want to be careful. There could be some sympathy moves, could be some different stuff happening there. So just be careful if you're trading retailers. Expect the unexpected, I guess. The SPOOs, Joel, I don't know what's going on, but they are just bouncing all over the place today. We've been down, about when we started the show, we were down 5. Then we were up 1. Now we're down again. So really, here, Joel, I can't really get a feel for, which way this market wants to go.
There is one kind of fundamental reason. You never hear me talk about fundamental reasons when it comes to the S&Ps. But what you do have is you do have the rollover of the contracts. This will be the last day of trading the December contract in the front month, Dennis. And then we move over to starting tomorrow, we start trading the March. Even though the contract does not expire until next Friday, you do have basically a rolling over positions where people have to take their December positions and moving over to March. So they do that by buying and selling, the contracts. And what it does is it adds volume to the market, but it's not for really technical reasons. It's more for, repositioning portfolios, repositioning hedges for the next quarter. So a lot of time, if you go look at your charts and you look at the rollovers for these contracts, during the first week of and the second Wednesday of the expiration month, you'll see this kind of jagged activity. But nonetheless, the technicals still work. 1255 is a good swing number, so let's keep an eye on that. That's our Market Mover show for today, folks. We appreciate all your feedback, and we'll be back with you tomorrow.